Have you ever wondered what makes someone act with real integrity even when nobody's watching? We usually think about laws or religion as our moral compass, but what if there was a powerful, unwritten code, almost like a mental operating system designed for peak performance in leadership? Well, today we're digging into Bushido, not as some ancient relic, but as a seriously timeless framework for the 21st century.
So, where does this story even begin? It all kicks off with one simple but totally flooring question. Picture this. It's around 1890 and a brilliant Japanese scholar named Inazo Nitobe is in Europe. A Belgian jurist turns to him and asks this very question. And Nitobe, he was stunned. He knew Japan had this incredibly strong moral core, but he couldn't quite put his finger on how it was taught, especially without the kind of religious framework so common in the West. That single question lit a fire in him, sparking a mission to decode the invisible engine of Japanese ethics for the rest of the world. And the result? His incredible book, Bushido, The Soul of Japan.
And who was this guy, Inazo Nitobe? Well, he was the perfect person to be this cultural translator. He was born into a samurai family right as feudal Japan was fading away, so he literally had one foot in ancient tradition and the other in the modern world. He studied at top universities in both America and Germany and went on to become a high-ranking diplomat. This amazing background gave him this unique 360-degree view, making him the ideal person to build a bridge between two completely different worlds.
All right, so here's our game plan for this deep dive. First, we're going to unpack how Bushido works as a code without formal religion. Then, we'll get into the real heart of it, the 7 core pillars of leadership. After that, we'll uncover its central engine, the whole concept of honor. And finally, we'll bring it all home and see why this ancient code is, believe it or not, more relevant today than ever.
Okay, let's jump right into Act 1, a code without religion. This gets right back to that Belgian jurist's big question and really explains why Nitobe felt so compelled to write this book in the first place.
So, here's the first thing you absolutely have to understand. Bushido was never some dusty old rule book sitting on a shelf. Nitobe called it an organic growth. Think about that. It wasn't invented by one person. It evolved over hundreds of years through the real-world lived experiences of the samurai warrior class. It was an unwritten code, a set of principles that were passed down, deeply understood, and just felt. As Nitobe beautifully put it, it was a law written on the fleshly tablets of the heart.
And this code wasn't created in a vacuum. It drew its power from 3 main philosophical streams. From Buddhism, it took on this sense of stoic calm. A quiet trust in fate and a view of death that wasn't rooted in fear. From Shintoism, it absorbed a deep-seated loyalty and patriotism, this idea that your land is sacred and your people are family. And finally, from Confucianism, it adopted a really practical, ethical guide for how society and relationships should work. You mix those all together, and you get this potent blend of spirit and structure.
Okay, now let's get to the core of this operating system, the 7 pillars. We're going to really slow down and unpack these, because they aren't just rules for ancient warriors. Seriously, think of them as essential skills or competencies for any leader today. The first and, honestly, the most important pillar is G, which means rectitude or justice. Nitobe saw this as the absolute foundation, like the skeleton that gives the whole body its shape and strength. It's not just about knowing right from wrong. It's the power to decide on a course of action based on reason and to see it through no matter what. No wavering. For a samurai, dying for the wrong reason was a meaningless death. Rectitude is what ensures your actions actually matter. Without it, everything else just falls apart. Next up is courage. But hang on, this isn't just about being physically brave on a battlefield. It's about moral courage, having the guts to do what's right, especially when it's hard or when nobody's on your side. Nitobe even quoted Confucius, who said, "To know what is right and not to do it is a want of courage." And as Nitobe so wisely pointed out, courage that isn't guided by rectitude is just recklessness. It's like having a powerful engine with no steering wheel. Then we have Jin, benevolence or compassion. This is the virtue that keeps strength from becoming cruelty. Nitobe saw it as this deeply humanizing quality, that feeling of empathy that makes a powerful person want to protect and care for the vulnerable. He even called it a feminine virtue, the affection and mercy that creates a balance with the warrior's masculine hardness. This is what turns a powerful person from a threat into a true guardian. Pillar number 4 is Rei, respect. And this goes way beyond just saying please and thank you. It's the genuine external expression of your internal respect for other people's feelings and dignity. For the samurai, this wasn't about being stiff or formal. It was a practical way to show compassion and keep society running smoothly. Just think about it. It's the operating system for a healthy, high-functioning team environment.
After that comes Makoto, honesty and sincerity. This one's simple but so powerful. It's about the complete alignment of what you say, what you think, and what you do. It creates a bedrock of trust so solid that, for a samurai, written contracts were often seen as an insult. The very idea that you needed to write something down implied that their word, their promise, wasn't good enough.
And this quote from Nitobe just nails it. A samurai's word was his bond. I mean, just take a second and imagine a business world or any team where that was the default setting. The speed, the efficiency, the psychological safety you'd get from that absolute level of trust, that would be an insane competitive advantage. The sixth pillar is Meiyo, or honor. And okay, this one is a really big deal. This isn't about getting famous or having a good reputation. It's an internal thing, a vivid, personal awareness of your own dignity and self-worth that comes from your actions, from your character, not from likes, promotions, or what other people say about you. This intense sense of personal honor is what fueled all the other virtues. We're definitely going to circle back to this one. And finally, we have Chugi, loyalty. This is the glue. In feudal times, sure, it was about loyalty to a lord, but what Nitobe argues is that it's really about devotion to a cause that's bigger than you are. It's a deep commitment to your team, your company, or your principles, and a willingness to be held accountable for that commitment.
So let's put it all together and see how this ancient code becomes a modern blueprint. As you can see, these aren't just abstract ideas. Gi, rectitude, is the foundation of ethical decision-making. U, courage, is what drives real innovation and smart risk management. Benevolence becomes corporate social responsibility. This isn't just a history lesson. It's a direct, actionable playbook for being a better, more effective leader right now.
Okay, so we've covered the what. Now let's talk about the why. This brings us to the next key idea: honor as the inner compass. If the 7 pillars are the software, honor is the processor that makes the whole system run. And it's all about a massive shift in how we measure ourselves.
This slide right here is so important. Just look at the difference. Reputation is what other people say about you. It's external, it's fragile, and let's be real, in the age of social media, it's almost completely out of your control. But honor is what you know you are. It's built from the inside out on your integrity. It's durable, and it is 100% within your control. Shifting from that external scorecard to an internal one, that is the entire game.
So what do you actually get from making this shift? Well, focusing on honor builds incredible mental resilience. It gives you a stable sense of self-worth that doesn't shatter when you get criticized or when you fail. It pretty much makes you immune to the crazy dopamine roller coaster of external validation. It allows you to lead authentically because you're grounded in your own principles, not in the constantly shifting opinions of others. It really is the ultimate source of inner strength.
And all of this brings us to our final act, Bushido for 2026. Why on earth does this ancient code matter more than ever in our super connected, and let's face it, often chaotic world? Look around. We're living in what a lot of people call a trust deficit. In a world where commitments can feel temporary and integrity sometimes seems optional, simply operating with a strong personal code of conduct where your word is your bond makes you stand out. It becomes your single greatest professional asset, your ultimate competitive advantage.
When it's all said and done, Nitobe's vision was so much bigger than just explaining Japan. He saw that the virtues of Bushido, justice, courage, compassion, respect, honesty, honor, loyalty, they weren't just Japanese values, they're human values. He hoped these ideas could become a bridge across the Pacific, a way to connect all people through a shared understanding of what's right.
So we're going to leave you with a question. In our world today, we are drowning in data but absolutely starving for wisdom. We have metrics and KPIs for everything, except for the things that actually matter. So the question that Bushido forces us to ask is this: what is your code? What are the principles that guide you when no one is looking? Because answering that, that's the path to true, authentic leadership.